Today's a bit of an exciting one because we're taking a look at a brand new 1/8 scale short course truck. And here it is here. This thing is brand new from JJRC. Yes, it's all dirty and dusty because I've already tested this truck and I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised. Now, I featured JJRC trucks on my channel before, and let's just say some of their early cars weren't very good. So when this turned up, I was really excited to see what this truck was going to be like, because this is the first time we've seen a larger truck like this from the guys at JJRC. And even though their smaller trucks have been questionable in the past, this thing actually looked decent. So we've got a lot to get through on this video. Of course, I will show you how this thing got so dusty. And of course, I'll show you how fast this truck goes on 3S, 4S and 6S. But before we do any of that, we need to take a closer look at some of the features on this truck. We are going to give this truck a proper rip, but before we do, let's talk about some of the exterior features. Now, this has a massive front bumper, but it does feel very rigid. Up on top, we've got an LED light bar and some roof skids. The rear bumper feels a little bit more flexible. And of course, we've got some LED lights on the rear as well. Now, I'm going to say from the start, I don't like the body on this one. I mean, what does black cannon even mean? And what is this questionable item on the back? Of course it's a shovel. What was you thinking? I don't know, I just find bodies like this a little bit tacky these days. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it's certainly not the best looking thing I've ever seen. So let's take the body off and let's take a closer look at some of the chassis features on this. So under the body here you have the coiled cable, which is for the LED light bar at the front. Now this is where it gets quite interesting, because under that body, this looks like it could be a very well put together machine. And the plastics under here definitely feel a little bit more flexible. We've got a giant chassis brace running through the middle. This thing has massive oil filled adjustable shocks. But how do they feel? Well, actually they feel quite firm. So the chassis on this is made out of plastic, but you do get these metal inserts or skid plates. Now this does have very thick and chunky front CVDs and very thick dog bones on the rear. Everything looks like it's well put together on this. I mean, just look at the size of these and that. So let's talk about the electronics. Now this thing comes with a 6S capable ESC. That's going to be very interesting. Now this ESC comes fitted with two XT60 connectors. I'm probably going to change those to a single XT90. I don't like running 6S packs with XT60 connectors. This has a 2000 kV 4274 brushless motor, and it does have an adjustable motor mount, so you can fit a bigger pinion. And then finally down here we have a 35 kilogram steering servo. So in the box you get a 5000 milliamp hour 3S, two instruction manuals, one in English and one in Chinese. Part numbers and exploded diagrams is always something you want to see, but how easy is it going to be to get parts for this? That's one of the biggest issues with brands like JJRC. Are you going to be able to get easy parts? In the accessory bag, we've got some longer Velcro straps, some basic tools, body clips and accessories. We've got a wheel wrench and then a USB charger, although I won't be using this to charge this. But you could do it, would work, but it will take over 2.5 hours to charge this 5000 milliamp hour pack. Here we have the Dumbo RC transmitter. We've seen these things loads of times before. Really, really nice transmitters. No complaints about this. Finally, you get a decal sheet, and these are just going to add to that already horrendous looking body. So next up, we're going to see how fast this goes on the included battery. Before we do that, here's a little look at the LED lights. There's a little look at the LED light bar up on top, and the rear lights. Yeah, they look okay. Right, so let's see how fast it goes. Let's start the GPS. So let's see how fast this will go right out the box. With that included, 5000 milliamp hour 3S. Now essentially this is a 1/8 scale truck. You very rarely run anything of this size with a 3S pack. You know, usually when you're sort of going up to the 1/8 scale stuff, you'll be running 4S and above. And this does have a fairly low kV motor as well. I think it's a 2000, so it's a fairly low kV motor. So 3S, yeah, just feels a bit slow, a bit boring. I think 4S and 6S are going to wake this up. Yeah, feels a bit slow, a bit boring. Now, if you're paying £380, I think this is, I think it would have been nice to have got a 4S pack at the very least included in the box instead of just a 3S. But that's just my take on it. Right, let's bring this back. Let's see what we got with the included battery. Yeah, it just feels a bit boring, a bit underwhelming. Okay, so let's hit stop and read. It's a 24 miles per hour out the box with that included battery. Yeah, that's just not great. So moving on, let's see how fast it goes on 4S. So on 4S, yeah, it definitely wakes it up a little bit, but it does still feel a little bit slow and a little bit underwhelming on 4S. Now they do include a speed pinion in the box, so you can get a little bit more speed out of this, especially if you choose to run 4S. I mean, it's not the slowest thing out there, but for a 4S truck, maybe it should be a little bit quicker. But again, you could gear up a bit. I think 4S will probably be the sweet spot on this. I think the 6S is going to be crazy, but we'll see. Right, let's see what we got on 4S. I'm hoping we got into the 30s. I'll be disappointed if we haven't. Brakes are pretty good. So let's hit stop and read. So 33 miles per hour out the box on 4S. That's a little bit better compared to that 3S pack. So the final speed test of the day. Let's see how fast it goes on 6S. So 6S, let's see what we can get. So yeah, it does scream on 6S, but is it going to be too much for this? Okay, so that's quite a lot faster than the 3S and the 4S. Yeah, it does start to hop around a little bit once you kind of get up to full throttle. It becomes a little bit unstable. I don't think the tyres are perfectly suited to running on road anyway, but even so, full throttle again. Yeah, just see what I mean about it hopping around a little bit once you kind of get up to the top speed. Right, let's bring it back, let's see what we got. I think we may even get into the 50s now. Yeah, it's quick, there's no denying that, and with the speed pinion it'll probably be even quicker. Do you really need to go that fast with a short course truck? Yeah, probably not. Right, let's see what we got. So let's hit stop and read. So 50 miles per hour, exactly. Yeah, that's a lot quicker on 6S. But it does become a little bit unstable at top speed. Yeah, I think 4S is probably the sweet spot on this. Maybe if you gear it up a little bit. I think 6S may just be too much. So let's see how this thing performs over here on the dirt. This location is fairly harsh to smaller cars, but because this thing is 1/8 scale, yeah, I don't think it's going to struggle. So I'm currently running on 6S, and it can handle this kind of surface absolutely fine on 6S. Yeah, it does seem to grip fairly well. It's not the best handling truck I've ever tried, but it does grip fairly well. I think a decent set of tyres on this, and yeah, could be a much better handling truck compared to how it is out the box. Yeah, I love running slightly larger trucks sometimes, because when you're at a location like this, which can be a bit harsh on some of the smaller cars, like the 1/12 scale cars, 1/10 scale cars, when you've got the extra ground clearance and the bigger tyres, it's just nicer having a bigger truck sometimes, especially to run at a place like this, which is unforgiving at times. Oh! Yeah, it handles quite well. I think I would have liked to have seen a gyro on this, just to give it that little bit of extra stability, especially when you're running on 6S. I think a gyro would have been a good addition. Not bad, not too bad. Now this is a truck that a lot of people didn't even know existed, or a lot of people didn't even know was gonna, you know, hit the RC market, because I don't remember seeing much, you know, information about it. It just kind of turned up, although I do remember Banggood mentioning it, And I think I said, yeah, that's fine, send me one and I'll give it a go. But I don't even think I realised at the time that it was 1/8 scale. I think I thought it was a 1/10 scale. So when the big box turned up, I have to say I was a little bit surprised to see a 1/8 scale short course truck. But yeah, pleasantly surprised. Yeah, this definitely handles this surface better than when we ran it over on the tarmac over there. Yeah, pretty cool truck, I've got to say. Yeah, it's not the best handling truck I've ever driven, but I did see on another video that there's potentially a version 2 coming, so hopefully they address some of the issues on this one. Although I haven't found many issues, apart from it being or feeling like a little bit top heavy. This truck has surprised me a little bit, because I wasn't sure what to make of this when I first see it and I see the body and I thought, yeah, I don't really like it, but actually, this thing is turning out to be really good. And I think with a different body, maybe some different wheels and tyres, this has potential. And looking at the price, I think it's around 370, 380, that's pounds. For a 1/8 scale truck, isn't too bad actually. I wouldn't have said that's too bad. It's quick on 6S. 50 miles per hour on road, and that is quick off road. Yeah, I think the shocks are a little bit firm as well. It needs to be overall a little bit lower, a better body, and they may be onto a winner with this one. I really like it. So there we go then guys, a brand new 1/8 scale entry from the guys at JJRC. I didn't think I was going to like this one, but it surprised me. Even though I don't like the body, underneath, that chassis and that platform seems to perform really well. It's not perfect though, it does need some adjustment. I think the shocks are too firm. I think we need to find a more suitable set of tyres for this, and of course a much nicer body, because that body just isn't very nice to look at. Now I have seen on another channel that there may be a version 2 coming, so they are going to make some changes. And when you look at how much this costs, around the £370, £380 mark, it isn't too bad for the money. The only thing that worries me with something like this is spares availability. Now you are going to break this truck. If you buy this and you run it on 6S, I can guarantee at some point you're going to break this truck. And if you do break it and you can't get parts for it, well, that's a very expensive paperweight. That's the only real concern I have really about going for a truck like this. Are you going to be able to get spares? So this truck may not look the best, but it definitely has good performance under that body shell. It is far from perfect, but with some changes, I think it's got potential. So let me know in the comment section down below what you make of this new JJRC truck. Would you be happy to buy one of these over a 6S Armour, for example? I always love hearing from you guys, so let me know your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. Cheers for watching, see you on the next one. Take care.